October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.
Right, October Red, I am here with Matchroom CEO Frank Smith. It's been a minute. I've given up chasing you now, Frank. Can't get hold of you, so I've just given up. Because you're just all over the place. If you're not jumping into buildings with guns, rescuing fighters from other promoters, you're swanning off to Monte Carlo. I don't know, you might be in Cuba and Mexico. I've given up. So
I'm coming for Jason Statham's gig. That's what I'm going for.
I'll tell you what.
Get me in a few movies, you know. I mean, the way I revealed myself from that.
You know what? It was Chef's Kiss. And we're going to talk about today's card, but it'd be rude of me not to go back to that because I've been on about Ben Whittaker with you guys for ages. It's something that I've said he suits you guys, and the promo matched that. The rescue mission. Talk to us about the idea for that promo because I like it.
Alex Haynes, best in the business.
I know. He's
we
fantastic.
signed him. We agreed a deal last Sunday. We were going back and forth on the contract between.
That's short.
Yeah, last Sunday, not Sunday, just got. So 10 days ago, we agreed a deal. Between Sunday and Thursday, going back and forth on the contract. On Tuesday afternoon, we told a very small group of people in our office. We kept it very quiet because you've got to remember the first time we thought we signed him, we didn't sign him. We filmed a promo, it didn't happen. So we spent 3-4 days contracting it. Alex Haynes put together that promo. They filmed it on Friday, and on Monday we announced it. You know, unrivaled in what they do. The Show Me the Money promo was all Ben Whittaker's idea. You know, but that's, you're working with a showman. You know, and that's what he does. So it's good. It's good. It's exactly like, I think it's the pairing that was always going to make sense. And I also think him and Eddie together are going to be unbeatable.
What is the plan for him then? Because like you said, he's had about 10 fights now. What's the strategy to switch that up? And I'm asking this, Frank, because he's got high currency in value, as in social media following. Now, we know that's fantastic. We know that's something that Matchroom goes for. You guys are all about the numbers. You chase numbers. How are you going to turn that into fight ticket currency?
I think he needs momentum now. He needs momentum. He's never had that, you know. And I think for someone like he's had 10 fights in 3 years. You know, for us, we're going to give him 4 fights in the next 14 months, but built at the right pace as well. You know, because I get in trouble for saying it, but I don't think he's ever had the correct matchmaking to help him develop and grow. You know, and you've got to remember as well, he's going to be around for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. There's always going to be pressure on people saying, you should be fighting this person, you should be fighting this person. He needs things that develop him and take him to that next level. And he's got the ability to be a superstar in the sport. I think with him and Andy Lee as well, it's going to be a terrific pairing. So, you know, I think I'm excited about what's to come. And like I say, key is activity. 4 fights, 14 months, and then step on from there.
The key is activity, but how do you tend to match him? You've mentioned that his matchmaking could have been better previously. So what do you do to him? Do you like simmer him, like give him opponents that he's definitely going to beat, or do you give him little challenges as it goes forward? What is the strategy for him when it comes to his opponents? Because you know what the public's like. They're like, all right, yeah, Matchroom's took him. What are they going to do? Just put him in with people that he's going to knock out? What's the strategy?
I think you have to move him at the right pace. You need to put him fights that he develops. Yes, he's going to knock people out. No, that's the aim. That's what people buy into. People want to see people getting knocked out. And I think, you know, it's a journey. It's not going to be chuck him in the first fight. I'm just being honest with you. But it's going to be a good fight and then keep stepping up from there. Because again, he needs that momentum. He needs to go on that journey where I don't think, when I talk about the opponents of the past, I don't think there's been the investment in the type of opponents that are developing him. You know, so, and there's always going to be people having their view and say, this isn't good, or, you know, and that's the world we're in. But our job is to build him for the long run. I believe we'll work with Ben Whittaker till the end of his career. You know, we signed a long-term deal, but I believe we'll work with him for the rest of his career, and I'm excited about where it can go. You know, and you've got to think about a long-term plan with him.
I definitely do think the matchmaking does. It works. Him and Eddie, the egos, I bet it's going to be a struggle to get them through the same door at the same time, but it works. I just want to see that currency of his with his followers turn into those ticket sales, those people turning up to really get behind him, and the promo that you've done so far to push that out has got a lot of people talking.
Yeah, it's all about getting people talking. But you got a character who gets people talking. Love him, hate him. You know, everyone's got a view on everyone these days. You know, everyone has an opinion, and you have to play into that. But he's a showman, and he's got people talking about him, hasn't he? Whether you love him or dislike him, he's got people talking about him, and that's the game we're in. You need to get people talking. You need to get people having opinion on you. I'd rather have someone have an opinion on me as a fighter than not know me.
That is very, very true. We're going to move on to this card because I could talk about Ben Whittaker all day long. But this card, a really risky fight for Dave Allen, and I understand that Makhmudov has lost a couple of fights, but he's still a dangerous puncher. And we've seen Dave Allen in some horrific heavyweight fights where I thought, is this it for him? Like, literally. Makhmudov?
He wanted a fight that tested himself. Look, I'll be completely honest. I've said at times, years ago, that Dave Allen should have retired. But I've said it about a lot of fighters as well. And ultimately, I think he's never applied himself like he has for this fight. And he's never applied himself like he has for this stage of his career. He knows that this can completely change his life forever. And I make the joke, he talks about ice cream sandwiches. Like, what athletes eating ice cream sandwiches? Dave Allen used to do it. But he knows he's got to apply himself completely, and that's why he's in the position he's in. If he can come through this fight against Makhmudov, he sets himself up for the biggest fights in the division. Because he's selling 10,000 tickets at Sheffield this Saturday night. It's amazing. But he's got, he needed someone that would test himself, that would scare him, to put himself in the position to motivate him to do the work he needs to do. And I'm excited for it, and fair play to him, because a lot of fighters would never do that.
When it comes to Conor Tusbury, you're light heavyweight, and obviously now you've got Ben Whittaker. How do you shine the light on equally over the light heavyweights? You've got Craig Richards as well. How do you prioritise what you do? Are you potentially going to be putting on a light heavyweight show? Have you got enough talent to do that? How are you going to market them? Because being in the same weight, you can have your favourites, is what I'm getting at, Frank.
But I think you have to look at every individual, forget weights for a minute, every individual in their own merit and their own right. I see a lot of people we'll do a light heavyweight show, or we'll do this show. It's about creating events and shows that people buy into. It doesn't matter about the weight so much. It's like, if you can sell and build a fighter, that's the aim, and they're all at different stages. They're all at different stages of their career. They're all going to be pushed into different types of fights at different stages of their career. But, it's exciting times, lots to look forward to. And I actually think, I see messages, the signing of Ben Whittaker is great for British boxing, because we need these kind of stars. And it only helps the sport and the British fight nights improve and grow.
Yeah, I totally agree, because the stuff that Anthony Joshua's done, he puts Britain on the map, so it does have a knock-on effect. But mentioning Anthony Joshua, you guys have said, I've watched a couple of your interviews, and you said that he's back training, he's ready now. Who's training him? Because he wasn't in the UK. Is he still with Ben Davison?
He's been in training camp in a few different bits. Camera dropping. He's been in a few different bits of camp. He's been speaking to Ben Davison. He's been travelling as well. He's taken time out of the sport, but he's back now, punching, back in the gym. And I think as soon as we got a date, he'll be in a proper full camp.
Because Makhmudov has posted that he's had like a DM from Anthony Joshua saying...
I think Makhmudov DM'd Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
And said, I want to fight you.
Okay, and he said, after you beat Dave Allen, what do you think of that?
Yeah, look, everyone wants to fight Anthony Joshua, of course. Everyone's calling out Anthony Joshua. It's part and parcel. It's the thing of being Anthony Joshua, isn't it? Everyone wants to be your next opponent. AJ's in a great position. Whatever he chooses to do, whatever fight he goes into next. Nothing decided yet, but we're getting very close.
The thing is, I do like what Matchroom's doing, the rebranding, the signing. Like I said, Ben Whittaker has brought a lot of eyes to the sport. There is some suggestion that you've got potentially about 8 months left on the DAZN contract. I'm one of these, sorry guys, I'm an advocate for Netflix. Is that potentially something that's going to be in discussion? I know we spoke about it before, or are you just going to renew straight with DAZN and that's it, and everyone can tell I told Red to stop asking this question?
Look, we got a great relationship with DAZN. We made the move very early where people didn't believe in it, but it was the early stages. This was 8 years ago.
They did believe in it, Frank, let's be honest.
I mean, we always believed. We left Sky. We were at Sky for 25 years and we decided to leave Sky. Obviously, we've got other sports still with Sky. Darts has just signed an extension with Sky, but we felt it was the right move for the sport, a global home for the sport, and that's what we want to be. We want to be a global business of boxing in this sport, and no one else is doing what we're doing. When you talk about Netflix, obviously it's been great for the sport of boxing, but they don't want to do 40 shows a year. They saw it. You would have seen it with the UFC discussions. It was quite public and open about that. They wanted the big pay-per-view level nights. And I think that Netflix are going to want to be involved in one-offs here and there. And I don't see it being a place where boxing grows and helps build up the grassroots. Discussions ongoing with DAZN, and we're in a great place with them and excited about what the future holds.
With the recent signings, the last one from me, obviously, His Excellency and Eddie had a meeting, and he's now looking at obviously getting involved in the darts, the snooker, the tennis. Do you feel like sometimes the UK is losing a bit of its magic because a lot of it is now going out to Saudi? Say, for example, your cream of the crop fighters, Saudi may want to put them on their cards. I know we've got the ring card coming up again with Eubank and Ben. But do you feel like you're going to lose a bit of your fighters to go under the Saudi umbrella, and then it's like, where does the British market stand? I know you're global, I know that.
I think, but I hear this a lot. But then I look at Belfast 3 weeks ago, 20,000 people in there for Crocker Donovan. Look at this weekend, 10,000 people for Dave Allen. Next Friday, we're in York Hall with a sold-out crowd at York Hall as well. Then we got 2 shows in November. You got Eubank Ben in November. December, we're back-to-back every week. You know, so I think boxing's in a great place. I think boxing fans inherently like to mow. You know? But the world's changing, so you're getting the fights you want to see. We're doing massive shows. We sold 30,000 tickets nearly in just our last 2 shows in the UK. So that shows to me that we're in a good place. And ultimately, we're judged by numbers. So if 30,000 people buy tickets, we must be doing a good job. But we're our own biggest critics. We know what we need to do. We know we need to keep delivering. Hence why we've gone on to sign the fighters we've signed. Look at the latest signings. You know, Ben Whittaker obviously being the latest one, but before that, Leo Atang, Adam Maka, TMA Ayton, and then on a global level, Zakim Moses, Nishant Dev, Pat Brown as well. You know, we're non-stop. And we're not giving up. Everything we do is looking at the long term of this business is 3, 4, 5 years ahead. It's not short term, 3, 4 months. You know, so I'm excited about what the future holds. We're always going to face into critics and fans having their view, and that's the world we live in. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone deserves an opinion. But we're happy about where we're going.
Yeah, it's only because we hear, like, obviously Rock Nation partnership, Turkey partnership, and we're like, okay, so what does this mean? We will.
Rock Nation is because me and Jay-Z, we're going to launch a record label.
Oh, you're going to be featuring on it, yeah?
So I'm out.
I can't wait to hear your diss track against Ben Shalom.
Oh, I would never do it.
But listen, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure to see you, and I'll catch you at the next one.
Lovely to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Smith.
Thanks very much.
October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.